Okay, so we've got some major core updates to all of our ASBs July 2025. So I'm going to go through those now, and it affects all of our automated strategy builders. So we've had some major upgrades to P&L protection, the scheduling as well, using some technology from our Trading Buddy indicator, and we've had an alerts upgrade. And then we have some behind the scenes upgrades. So we've improved the error checking for unresponsive orders. We've been streamlining the user interface on the back end to make things a little faster. And then there's some small additions to the user interface upgrades for the front end. So let's go through them all. Sort of see this as an example of what the training is really, and all these upgrades. So the P&L protection upgrades first. So first of all, we've added more additional rules. So max profit rules, you could just choose one before, and we'll go through an example soon where you can add more than one max profit or max loss rule. And we've also added some additional sort of options in here. So we can look at a weekly account profit percentage, a weekly realized account profit percentage, daily instrument account profit percentage, and then daily realized instrument account percentage, and then obviously weekly on the instrument as well. So quite a few more options there, which gives you some more control over that P&L protection through each day, but then also through the week, and have them all running continuously at the same time. So for example, if you've got range breakout and slingshot both trading on gold, for example, once you get to your weekly instrument account profit for gold, none of them will trade anymore. It'll just switch them all off. And then we've got some extra bits down here for the max number of wins, max number of losses. We've got net strategy per day and net strategy enable. And again, I'm going to go through an example of that. So basically with our max profit, again, we can add more than one rule. We can hover over any of these actually on the ASB, and it will tell you all of the sort of instructions, if you like. And then obviously the trailing max drawdown calculation is there as well. And again, we've just enhanced the ability to use more sort of suggestions in this P&L protection. So net strategy per enable and net strategy per day basically enforces a net win count. So a number of wins minus the number of losses before trading is halted, whether that's since you enabled the strategy or even per day, which gives you a cleaner type of things. You're not looking for a max win of consecutive winners of 3, for example. If you're looking for a win of 5 per day, then it will halt trading. And then we have those extra things now where we can have rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, so how to combine them is, first of all, you could have the weekly instrument account profit percentage at 10%. So once it hits 10% on your account balance profit for that instrument, it will stop trading that instrument. You could put a daily strategy profit amount of $300, for example. And then on the max loss rule, you could have a weekly realized account loss of 5% in this case here, or a daily of $300. So you've got a lot more options to build more P&L protection in there. And then max number of wins in this particular case per day is 5. And max losses, something that we had before, is consecutive 2 per day. So scheduling updates now, this is where we have a lot of new tools. Cool. So we have blocking. Real-time trading is disabled during news events, which is very important for these big data events there. We don't want to get wiped out of a trade that we're already in, or we don't want to get in a trade just before that. So here we can have scheduling here, news events real time. We can have date blocking as well, so we can block complete dates. So for example, FOMC, get the dates for the year, put them all in, and it just won't trade on FOMC day, and that's really, really powerful. And then as we had before, we can define times when trading is allowed and not allowed. So if no sessions are enabled, it would just be unrestricted trading. So we can have times of the day, days of the week, that sort of thing. So let's go through an example. The technology for scheduling is taken from the Trading Buddy technology that we have running on our indicator. So basically what we're looking for here is a pre-news buffer of 5 minutes. Again, this can be changed. A post-news buffer of 15-minute buffer after that news event. And we can choose the impact. So in this case, it's high impact. At the moment, we can have blocking and display, or we can have blocking, or we can have lots of options there. This is an example on medium, where we're displaying it and we will block. So medium is in the amber and red is in the high. So at these times, 5 minutes before and through till 15 minutes afterwards, there'll be no trading. In fact, if we're in a trade at that time when it hits, it will take us out of that trade for safety. We also can change the column display from time to countdown. So countdown you see on this one here is T minus 2 hours and 2 minutes before that particular news event, that data event, and it's high impact as well. We can actually display the currency, the country, and so we can understand what type of data and what currency it's going to affect. Okay, so we have here where we have the chart open, and we can see the news events in progress at this point. We've got 2 in progress. We've got French Flash PMI here in progress, and we can see down in the bottom here where we've got where it's green, that's the date, the time of the day where it's blocked from trading, and then where it is amber, that's a news event. So it stops, it basically switches it off during that time. Also, something I'm going to go over in a little while, we can actually send push notifications now from our ASBs to an app, and you will be alerted when this news event's in progress, so you know there's going to be no trades and all that sort of thing. And then we can have ones see where it's active, the slingshot is active here, because the actual news event has finished, it's complete, it's trading again. This is an example recently, this trade was this week, where we had the VWAP Predator ASB take a trade, get in the second contract here, but the news event started. As soon as we get the news event, it actually closed out the trade. It says news event here, see highlighted here, that's where it's closed down to protect the move that we're in, because look at this, it did pull back for quite some time here. So a lot of these new upgrades are for protection, but it gives you a lot more autonomy on everything that you can program in and the filters you can program in here. So scheduling again here, we can also look at a currency filter. So we could say anything that just affects the US dollar, anything that just affects Japanese yen or the GBP or whatever currency you want it to affect, you can just filter out those particular currencies. Or indeed the title. So if you want to put unemployment claims in there with a comma, FOMC statement, that sort of thing, CPI, you can type that in there with the commas. Again, hover over it, instructions are as you see them on here. And then the date blocking, again, is an additional feature here. So I've gone for an example here where I've got the FOMC decision days for the rest of 2025. So what we're going to do is blocking these dates, and we're going to choose a file, and then we're going to flatten on the start of that particular day. We're not going to take any trades during that day. So basically we can use a text file or a CSV file. In this case, text files are a lot easier for me to use. I found out when those FOMC decision announcements are being made for the rest of 2025. I then put a small document together here with the date format, which it tells you to do when you hover over. And again, I've called it FOMC Decision Dates 2025. I've saved it as a file and then loaded that file where it says choose file up the top here. I've loaded that file in. So every single one of these dates, everything will just be switched off. It will not trade. And then we have the rest, what we had before with the sessions, where we can select days of the week to trade between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. on a Monday, for example, on a Tuesday 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. or even every day of the week between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. down at the bottom here. Again, when we hover over, you on the ASB, you can actually see all of these instructions. We have a total of 15 sessions in that particular portion. So we have alert upgrades as well. Before we just had emails, but now we have push notifications. So we're using the pushover service, which is very, very, very good. I've been trialing that for a while now. It works extremely well. But I have to reiterate the warning here. Alert delivery can fail. We're using technology going from your computer or VPS with NinjaTrader to a third party. I've had none fail so far, but it can. Technology can fail. So there is no substitute for human supervision and proper risk management when you are trading. So what we have added now is the email, the push, or email and push. So you're going to install the pushover app. It's a one-time for $4.99 after the 30-day free trial, and that's for life. And you're going to sign in here at pushover.net /dashboard, and you're going to copy your user key. So I went onto the app first. Okay, I registered and I got my user key. This user key here ending in WEAUV8. That's my 30-digit character. When I log into the website, my user key obviously is here. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the website. My user key is in here. You will need that when you're using the ASB. And then you're going to go to your applications down here, because you get an API. You're going to create an API token. And I did this. I've done it with, I've just named it NT ASBs, NinjaTrader ASBs. I'm going to then create the application, and then it gives me my API token key, is ending in 85WG in this particular case. Okay, so the thing is then is if you want to have strategy status changes, okay, so if we're going active to inactive, that sort of thing, you just select push and you put your pushover user key in the top one here, and then your pushover API token in here, and it will connect automatically. Obviously you want to have push notifications for all of them, so your P&L protection hits, your end of day P&L updates, position updates, so when it's long, when the trade's been flattened, that sort of thing. Connection status changes. This is very important. If you lose connection to the broker, it can alert you straight away. We have got more, we've got very strong flattened type logic built into that. But again, that push notification is going to alert you that you've lost data or you've lost connection to your broker. And again, use the same pushover key, the same API token. So that goes for each strategy. So you would have to do it for the range breakout, and then if you were running the slingshot as well, or the expat algo, or the roller coaster, you would do the same sort of thing, and you would get these push notifications on your phone. So that's those upgrades, are big upgrades. This has been big work because we've had that P&L protection upgrades, the scheduling upgrades is a really big one, and alerts upgrades. And a lot of this is, yes, it's functionality, but it's also more safety, more risk management for our users. Those improved error checking for unresponsive orders is also in there as well. But again, I will say that warning, there's nothing as good as being in front of the computer when the majority of these are running. But again, we've tried to build in as many safeguards as possible, including these new alerts, the pushover app, the scheduling updates as well. So, we don't want to be trading into big data events or, the volatility just afterwards, and being able to automatically switch those off and not having to remember those things is mitigating the risk, especially if you're into that trade. I showed you that example where we were going really well and it pulled back and it would have taken us out of break even. So that held on to that profit. And then you saw some of those user interface upgrades on the front end as well. So hopefully that works well. We've done a lot of testing and we are releasing this at the beginning of July. And obviously these filters are in addition to everything else that's in those ASBs. So please check out the links below for the automated strategy builders for the Ninja Trading platform from Expert.